Welcome today. I'm so glad that you're here with me once again. I'm going to be doing a recipe for you today that's very simple, very easy to do. Sometimes we get in such a habit of doing something the same way all the time that we can see somebody else make the same sandwich or the same meal and go, I never even thought about adding that or putting this in place of something else. And so I'm hoping today as we move along that I'm going to do a grilled tuna melt and with it a side of crab salad. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to a restaurant and you have the crab salad with the celery and the sauce that goes on it. I love a good crab salad. And you can buy a good imitation crab from the local grocery store, a couple of dollars, I think, for a package of it. And if you do up the dressing on it very well, you can have a wonderful side dish to eat with this grilled tuna melt and not have potato chips or something greasy or a lot of salt or whatever. So let's just go ahead and start. I'm going to just start first of all by doing some celery, some extra celery. And so as we do this, just remember that kids, if you train them correctly when they're young, get them involved in the kitchen, let them feel like that they had something to do with the meal or the menu, you're going to be amazed at the things that they will eat that you couldn't begin to get them to do before. I know most people like tuna, but I know also that there are people who don't like tuna. But I think the way this is going to be with lots of cheese on it and a good hearty bread, I don't see why someone wouldn't take this as a nice hearty meal. Something maybe in the evening time, not just for lunch, because you are going to have crab salad with it. So normally for a lunch, you're thinking more of the concept of potato chips or something like that. But if you put a nice crab salad with it, you've got a hearty meal on your hands, okay? So let's just go ahead. We're going to go ahead and put this in our bowl. This is going to be for our crab salad. Now the crab salad just has celery in it, and the dressing for it is mayonnaise. Now I have to say that I happen to prefer the Miracle Whip. Miracle Whip has a little tang to it, but if you don't like Miracle Whip and you want to use the Hellmann's or something a little lighter, they also even have the light mayonnaise. Again, if you're diabetic or you have a problem with weight or heart problem, they have everything today that is in the light factor. And you can take that. Now, I happen to be using just the regular today. But for the salad dressing, and I need to get a little bowl here. Bear with me. Okay. For the salad dressing, this is what makes it good. Take 1 tablespoon of the salad dressing or the mayonnaise. Now, the key is sour cream. I remember one time I used to love, and that's 1 heaping tablespoon of sour cream. This cuts just the mayonnaise flavor, and the mayonnaise gives the sour cream a little bit more of a flavor. So you just mix that together because you want that to be blended so you don't get a bite of mayonnaise and a bite of sour cream. But this is what makes the difference in the crab salad. Okay, we'll set this aside. I'm going to set this over here so you can watch me do the crab salad. This is the classic crab salad. It's just an imitation. I believe it's cod is what it ends up being. But the flavor of it is a crab salad. And I'm just going to go ahead and take this out. As you see, it's just 1 container. They're little pieces. You can see here, see they're little pieces. You can see the fish part of it. Oh, shoot, I lost you just then because I said fish. But that's all right. That's okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to cut this up. You want it to have the consistency. So you're not just eating mush. You want to make sure that it's got a good consistency to it. Okay. And you can tear this as well. It gives you, but once you start stirring this, then these end up separating and end up looking like the crab salad. Now, if your kids are having a problem with crab salad, you know, this is wonderful on Ritz crackers. Ritz crackers takes a salad or a crab salad to a whole new dimension. If they ever did away with Ritz crackers, I don't know what I would do, because I don't know a kid that doesn't like crab salad or like Ritz crackers. Okay, we're going to go ahead and cut this up, and we're going to add it to our celery. Okay, you know, so many times certain foods bring to our mind a certain occasion. And I can remember the first time I had crab salad. I had it at a local restaurant. We were not raised on having crab salad or you know, anything what we called exotic. You wouldn't think of having crab salad. And I remember one time going, after my husband and I first moved to California. You know, I have to tell you that when we moved to California, gasoline was 18 cents a gallon. Oh, I know you just fell off of your chair, but 18, and we thought it was horrendous that it was 18 cents a gallon. And I remember my husband going and literally filling up the tank on our big car. Now remember, that was cars back then that weighed 42 tons, you know, the big steel bumpers on them and the big fins on the back. Okay, I might have lost some of you, but I know there's still some out there that knows what I'm talking about. And it would take $2 to fill up our gas tank. Boy, that's a far cry from what it is now, right? So anyway, let's go ahead and put our crab salad right in here, or our crab into our salad bowl. Okay, now I'm just going to take this and just kind of fork it up a little bit to start getting it broke up, because when I put this dressing in it, it's going to start doing that for me. Okay. Alrighty. Now, if I don't have quite enough of this, we'll just add a little bit more. But let's go ahead and put the 2 tablespoons, 1 of mayonnaise and 1 of sour cream. And let's just see how far this is going to go. Oh, looking good already. Now, what makes this nice is that you're eating it next to a wonderful tuna melt. So it just complements each other. Nice and crunchy. I'm going to add just a little bit of salt to it when I get it, because really the imitation crab has a little bit of a salty flavor to it anyway. And you know, the thing too, you don't want to add too much of your salad dressing, because you don't want to have a big mouth of dressing. You're really eating it to have the crab. So, and talking again about the recipe for life, finding something in your life. Do you know when God made the earth and he put a rainbow? Just think about that. Just the complexity of a rainbow should excite you. You should be able to go out when you see a rainstorm and look for something that reminds you of what God has done. And that's no different in our life. If we concentrate on the negative of our life, trust me, there is enough negatives to last us a lifetime. It is your choice whether you want to think of good and want to act on good, or if you want it to be negative. Okay. I think this is going to have enough. I'll take a little taste. Good. Good, just enough. Alrighty. And see, again, you do not want this to be runny. You want it to be firm. Alrighty. We'll serve this up just in a few minutes when we get our tuna melts on. we're going to add, we're going to make the tuna for the tuna melts. Now again, I happen to be picky, and I can't stomach anything but white albacore tuna. I don't want the light stuff. I don't want the stuff in oil. I want it in water. And then when I open it, I always rinse it off real well under the sink, under the tap, because I don't want it to smell like fish. Don't want it to taste like fish. Okay, and I think sometimes that's why so many kids maybe don't like it, because it has that fish odor. But if you'll wash it before you take it out of the can, just run it over the lid and squeeze the lid down. Okay, going to go ahead and we're going to add some onion and some celery. Okay, and we want this kind of chopped up. I don't like to eat a tuna sandwich and have this big clump of tuna in my mouth. I want it to all blend together. So you want to take the time to go ahead and mash this and get it to where it's kind of fine. Okay, we'll go ahead. We're going to add our mayonnaise. Now you don't want more than a tablespoon, okay, of mayonnaise. And I'll tell you why. You want this to be, now we'll stir it, kind of see the texture, but you don't want to get this on the grill and then have it full of mayonnaise. You want it to be firm and to be able to stay together, but not have so much mayonnaise that it runs. All right. You know, I can remember my husband telling me, and I have the same thing happen to me. All the world used to live on tuna casserole. Hate tuna casserole. Now, I don't want to offend anybody, but that was just something as a kid that I used to say to my mom, why can't we have chicken casserole? Why do we have to have tuna? I want to have chicken. And she'd say, we're having tuna because I said we're having tuna. That's just that simple. Now I'm going to add just a little more mayonnaise because it's just a little bit dry. And just as a little. Okay. You can see the consistency here. My mom was the kind of cook that she could take a can of tuna and make a meal to feed 8. I'm not kidding you. She used to add all kinds of lettuce chopped up and tomatoes and bell pepper. I mean, the bowl was like this big when she got done with a can of tuna. And I used to say to her, Mom, how did you get so much food out of that one can of tuna? She said, because I have to feed 8 people. And so a can of tuna is what I have. So I'm hoping that you enjoy this. Now, the main thing with these tuna melts is the bread. Let me take this and set this right here. We'll get back to that in a minute or so. I'm going to turn my grill on nice and hot. Okay. Now see, the same thing with your children. Now they cannot grill the sandwiches because it can't be around the hot stove, but they can butter the bread. Give them that duty. They can stir the tuna and the fixings that go in the tuna. They can take the time that it takes to stir up all of that crab meat. They can take that and get it ready for you. And again, when they go to sit down to eat, they have helped prepare the meal. So we're going to take a nice hearty bread. This is a good sourdough bread. It's a hefty bread. It's going to grill good and crispy. And so the key is we want to make sure that we butter. Now, again, if you're looking at a diabetes or heart situation, then you want to get one of the light butters to go on your bread. All righty. And the key is this is going to brown. All righty, let's put this on. Want to hear your cooker. Oh, whoever invented the electric flat grill is living in a mansion on a hill. I want you to know that. Living on a mansion on a hill. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take our tuna, and we don't want it so full that it's just going to all fall out. We just want it enough in order to get the flavor of it. Now, I've been in restaurants, and I never thought I would ever have to ask, excuse me here, to not have them grill my tuna. You know, a lot of restaurants will take your tuna, lay it on the grill, and cook it on the grill. Oh, it's terrible. I don't want hot tuna. So let's take this. We're going to mount a nice big amount. This is Swiss and American cheese together. You want it to be a nice, hefty amount. Think that's enough? I think it's enough. Okay. We'll put our lid on it. Press that little baby down. Okay. And now we're going to do the same thing, but we're just going to do it with the cheese. Just to show you the difference. Put those little tiny slabs of cheese on a piece of bread, and you cut it after you cook it, and you can't even see the cheese in it. So let's just go ahead and get this on. The idea is to have enough cheese on it for you to go, guess what? I had a grilled cheese sandwich. I'll put this on here. See, lots and lots of cheese. Get it on there so when you cut it, it's right there. Think we got enough cheese? Maybe just a little more. Not gonna hurt. More cheese, the better. Now see, again, you can just take plain white bread, stick it on the grill, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I have a real thing that grilled cheese has to be on white bread. And I have a situation where, you know, whole wheat has to be the way to go, but it does not brown up the way good white bread does. And it doesn't brown up the way this good sourdough bread does. You cannot say you do not have cheese when we get done with this. Let me see what it looks like. Ooh, it's getting there. We turn it up just a hair. Now we want it where it's going to have time for that cheese to melt. Okay. Now let's go back. We'll give these a couple of minutes on each side. Let's go back, and we're going to check our crab salad just to make sure that we have enough moisture. Because if you let it set just a few minutes, then what happens is the crab and the celery, they start weeping just a little bit. They have a little moisture in them. So if you overdo the crab salad right off at the beginning, then by the time you get ready to eat it, it's soggy and it's got too much moisture in it. This is looking good. We'll give it just another couple of minutes and check it again. Let's check these. Ooh. I just heard somebody's mouth water. Yes, I did. Wonderful. And we can turn it again. See, this one's going to have to be turned back just a little bit, but that's all right. That way we can keep an eye on it. When you get through eating a sandwich like this, you can say you had a meal. It's not, like I said, a little chintzy little piece of bread with one little thin piece of cheese on it, and you get done and you just got this gob in your mouth. You don't have a hearty meal. You could do a nice tomato soup with this. And on one of our other shows, we did the gazpacho, if you remember that. This grilled tuna, this grilled cheese would make a wonderful meal to go with that spring summer soup, the gazpacho soup. Okay. I'll let this go just a little bit more. I wanted to refresh you in respect of the scripture that we had. We were talking about blessed is the man. When we think about being blessed, you know, so many times, blessing, we think we are blessed because we feel good. We think we're blessed because everything's going 100% our way. We think blessed means I never have a problem. I never have a situation in my life that causes me to stumble or to think that I've made a wrong decision. But blessed is the man who does not stand with scorners or stands with someone that is against God. And wisdom comes from us having the knowledge of God. And we need to make sure that we understand that, because blessed has nothing to do with your surroundings. Do you know that I can be happy and be in the midst of chaos? And then I can be happy and know that God is the one that is on my side. Amen? And so as we are taking this wonderful, wonderful recipe together, and I pray again that your mouth is watering and that, but let's not think that just because everything's going well for us is that we are blessed. There are people who have a lot of money, can buy anything that they want, can go anywhere they want to do, and they're miserable because the blessing of God comes to his children. And you need to know that you know who your children are. I could take your children and put them in a room of 100 other children, and you would pick out your child, right? Well, that's no different than God. God knows if you're his child or not. He knows if he can bless you or not, because if you belong to him, you are in line for a blessing. But you know, it comes now down to the fact that if you are blessed and you know that God is on your side, the whole world can open up to the possibilities of who you are in the Lord. And as we have been together looking and seeing the different recipes that we've been doing, I want to come into your home. I want to come into your living room. I want to come into your kitchen where you take care of your family and try to help you to do something where your meals are coming from, that you're not only feeding your body, but you're feeding your soul. Because we can have all the food, the physical food that we possibly could ever want, and yet our soul is drying up. And so we need to keep that in mind. But as we take these, I'm going to flip them one more time. Ooh. Let's scoot this baby right over here. I want you to know this is a hefty sandwich. You could serve this to anyone and be proud to serve it to them. Let's take a look at this. Now I'm going to let it set just a second because I want that to set up so when I cut it, that it stays together and it presents itself well. So what I'm going to do while that's cooling just a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, excuse me, take my crab salad. And I really challenge you to try this crab salad. If you say, no, I don't like anything, like that, try it just one time and make a difference, maybe in something you can offer your family. I'm going to try just a tad more sour cream here. Just a tad. Well, being together today has been a blessing for me. And if you want anything more to know about these recipes, maybe when you turn the show off today, you think, oh, now what was that? Go to our webpage, Abundant Life Ministries of the Valley, and click on recipes, and you'll be able to pull all of these up. Here we go. Put this on our... And you know, you eat with your eyes first. So just to take time, just to put a little piece of lettuce on a plate makes all the difference in the world. Let's go ahead and cut this.